Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we kept going with our Void Crusade, and we'll do it for probably another 2 missions, I think? The big thing is making sure our seasonal mission doesn't get out of hand. It's okay right now, it's not too strong, so we'll let it slide and build up a little more. But we might, after another couple missions, have to knock that back down. But we'll see. Reflecting heat damage is gonna suck, but well, it's whatever. Oh, okay. Had a sneeze. But I got some cool news. It's a little old news now, we might have already saw it, but we got more news about Space Marine 2. Got a little bit more gameplay footage, it's more of watching Tyranids get stomped into the dirt. Which didn't really tell us a whole lot, but it's whatever. I was interested more in the environment and just the sheer volume of, guardsmen you see. But right at the end, the absolute last second, the last couple seconds, you see Titus walking through this area that's just all Zinchi. And you see these plasma bolts coming in, and if you look real close, it's Zangors and Thousand Suns. So I'm thoroughly excited, because we get to see who else is really kind of behind all this. And honestly, Chaos is... For Space Marine, it's a given. I'm not complaining, it's just you knew it was gonna be them, because there's PvP, and the devs kind of leaked, I'm air quoting leaked, even though they did delete it right away, stuff saying hey, you can customize your character for PvE and PvP content. So we know we're getting PvP, which I'm happy to see. I was actually concerned because we hadn't heard anything about it, and I was like, please Saber, don't go all in on just a horde mode, because it's not gonna last long, and it looks like they didn't. So I'm really excited. They also have a sign up for a beta thing. I'm not signing up, mostly because I assume this is just going to be a PC beta. And it's okay, realistically, even though my computer's decent, I don't think it'd be strong enough to do it without heating issues. I still have heat problems, but that's because the case itself is terrible. It's kind of what I get for buying a pre-build, but I mean, it's whatever. I just have to at some point get a new case and slap a couple extra fans in. But yeah, I figure, I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and I had said, realistically, I don't think the beta is super early beta kind of thing. And what I'm thinking is it's going to be kind of like Call of Duty, Destiny, games of that nature, where beta is more of hey, here's a month before the game comes out, trying to essentially drum up extra pre-orders and use it as free marketing, which I honestly think more games should probably do that. Limit how far you can go, limit some of the stuff, but just use that as your marketing. I get it. On one hand, it works great for games that are good. And for games that suck, it's actually a very terrible thing to do. Because I always remember, MAG, they had a beta you could do not even a beta, there was a beta, but there was also a demo. And you could play the game up to like level 7, and they never got rid of it until the game shut down. They're just like, yeah, if you don't have money, just play the demo version. And it worked fine. You would occasionally find people playing at that that peak of level 7, just having fun, and it's like, okay, it's a good way to keep some of your player numbers decent. And of course, if the people want any further, they have to buy the game. But I don't think they're going to do that. Nobody's done that for a decade, so... over a decade, so it's not like that model's really seen much. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best. Hoping for an actual release date besides... I think last I saw they were just like, oh yeah, December. And it's like, can you give me a little bit more of a time? Because, like, I'm buying the game, but I really appreciate more of a set-in-stone sort of deal here. But we'll probably see that closer to the beta, whenever it is. Might as well flatten another Nurgle demon.
Take it like a man, Guardsman.
I still can't get over these dudes just never scaling. Like, ah yes, Papa Nurgle has seen to it that I'm bound to this. I will protect it with my whole life. And the second they pop up, it's just like, plasma gun. And it's just splattered.
Such a crude trap against an Inquisitor. A few turrets will stop me. At your command.
But I'm excited. I do wonder what we're gonna get for the multiplayer side. Because in terms of weapons, like, there's a good amount, but there isn't a ton. And then for modes, if I were a gambling man, I would say we will get Team Deathmatch, a Domination mode, a free-for-all, maybe a Capture the Flag. I'd like to see the Dreadnought mode come back, or, if they want to be real ambitious, just a large-scale kind of current-day COD ground war style deal that's just scaled-up domination with Dreadnoughts as vehicles you can pull. Or they could do... I'm trying to think what else. Because that's a big option. They could also do like a Titanfall-esque, having normal garbage minions run around while you're fighting. Scale back the number of players. That kind of thing. It would be cool, but I don't know if they would really go for that or not. Regardless, though, I hope it's good. Seeing that they're really leveraging a lot of the tech they really had from World War Z, it's cool because it makes me think, okay, so they didn't have to build this from scratch, and they've been able to iterate on it. I do wonder how much replayability the Horde mode's gonna have. Because that's always a big thing, is like, if it's kind of a one and done kind of deal, that's one thing. What would be really cool, but I think it's a bit of an ask, is to make a version of the, what is that, like the Last Stand Commander mode from Dawn of War 2, where you'd have a bunch of different characters to choose from, each with their own abilities, and then you just pick one and go from there. Actually, let's try to just run through and get these idiots evac'd. As much as I appreciate the extra guys taking hits, I didn't really want them to risk dying. Last thing I need is to fail because I wanted to be greedy and fight my way through these guys. Okay, so we have a boss mission now. Okay, now I feel like I need to do it. Yeah, we're gonna have to run that. I don't want to push that any further. It already got upgraded to a boss fight. Wow, that's actually worse. That's incredibly disappointing. How are you worse when you are 13 levels higher? Well, 4 out of 5 stats. Okay, I answered my own question. Yeah, that was kind of a poo-poo run. Whatever. But you guys will get a long episode, because I'm not going to just be like, oh, we're not going to continue the Void Crusade. Nah, we're going to keep that going too. Skill point, right. Where do I want to put my skill point? Right, debuffs. Slowly but surely we will get there. Do I wanna gamble on this? Yeah, I'm stupid, why not? I'm not gonna add 2 levels to the mission. I don't feel like gambling that hard. Actually, can we undo that and go for Archaeotech shards? We'll go for that. Oh no, cooldown recovery rate and an extra champion. That's completely workable. Increased chance to gain high quality items. Sure. Let's just keep knocking those out. Heat resist. Ugh, I don't like that. Oh, damage bonus. No, I'll take the heat resist, I swear. Void shards? Oh, screw this. I'll deal less damage per shot instead of... Even though the warp resist wasn't bad, like 75% warp resist, I don't deal warp. But it was like a... What was it, 40-some extra health? I'm not playing that. Oh, one of the things I saw too was there was extra screenshots some guys got that showed like it was Thousand Suns confirmed. Because you could see their, it's not Scarab Occult, because that was, I think, Horus Heresy. But they're Terminators. Which is pretty cool to see. I'm all for it, and who knows, just thinking about the multiplayer, we might get something I'm not at all predicting. Which would be cool. I'd love to get something that's just so out of left field. Who knows, maybe... This is ambitious, but... Maybe this game could be kind of... Eternal Crusade the way we wanted it. But I don't know, it's all dependent on how long they've really been working on this, how much resources they're putting into it, and what scale they have planned. This might be Saber kind of putting their feelers out, going, okay, is there a market for this? Can we invest more heavily into a sequel? Because I think there is a market for 40k video games. And more than just RTS games. That's a problem I think Warhammer suffers from the most, both fantasy, 40k, and we'll include Age of Squigmar because someone has to. But I think the problem is when people look at making games, 9 times out of 10 they're like, oh, well, it's a tabletop RPG, or not even, I mean, there is an RPG, but there's also the tabletop wargame stuff, so it needs to be an RTS. And it really doesn't. We had the prime example of Space Marine 1. The only other example we really have off the top of my head, well, we had 2 non-RTS games, and that was, I mean, there's more, because we had like the MMOs and what have you, but otherwise we had Fire Warrior, which Fire Warrior wasn't bad. The audio was jank at times, but it wasn't bad. It was cool seeing a game from the Tao's perspective. I'd like to see one from, like, I think it's the Farsight Enclave. They are the one group of Tau that are actually respectable, since they realized the ethereal cast is the reason things are kind of weird, because they essentially mind control everybody. But there was that, and Dark Nexus Arena, which was a MOBA. I still think that game had a lot of potential. It just, that was a lot of Archaeotech stuff. Like, that was a lot of red I saw pop up on screen. But yeah, Dark Nexus Arena could have definitely stuck around, but it's the curse of chasing trends. I was watching a video about Call of Duty, actually. I'll continue this when we get into the next mission. Ooh, Inferno Shard. I mean, the damage for poison effects is worthless. The rest is useful. Don't really want a Thunderhammer. That is stupidly powerful. Like I said last time, when we start getting a bunch of debuffs, that's gonna be good. Lasgun, Shock Aura for 2 seconds on kill. That's cool, but it's weaker than mine. That's not a bad bolt pistol. We'll favorite that for now. That might come back and be useful. That's useless. Focus state after killing champions. Yeah, that could have been better. But I mean, I still got a good amount of stuff, so I can't complain too much. Oh, that movement speed hit, though. That's disgusting. I'll take just damage reflection. That's annoying, but it's tolerable. Okay. Okay, as I was saying, I was watching a video about Call of Duty, and it was... I can't remember who it was. I just know, I think it's T-Lexify. It's like his stream VODs. They did a clip of him kind of reacting to this video. And the video was about how essentially devs for the game, there was Black Ops Cold War, you can see a lot of stuff within, what is it, the fire team mode. And what happened was, it looks like a lot of it was meant to be a Blackout 2.0, but Activision was so keen on trying to replicate what they had going with Warzone that they essentially threw it under the bus and were like, no, you're not making this. And they were trend chasing so hard, and they had seen how well they were doing with Warzone, just sales and people playing it, for completely ignoring the fact that it was during COVID, so a bunch of people were sitting around at home not doing anything, so they had the free time, so they would play video games. And they just had this thing in their head of like, oh, well, we can just keep doing this and get money, not understanding that was amounts to a one-off situation. I kind of wish the game would, like, kind of target who I'm looking at. Because when I'm looking at other guys, the game's like, no, you can't look at that. You need to shoot a Nurgling. Or you need to shoot a Gobbler. Not the guy who's, like, actively hunting you down at the moment. What are you, stupid? It's like, no, I just would like to have proper target designation. But these games on console always have garbage target acquisition. But yeah, it was interesting, and that's what I always worry about with, like, Space Marine, is the idea of someone high up seeing a trend and going, yeah, we can copy that, right? And not fully understanding the surrounding circumstances. Because I feel like that's incredibly common both in the trend chasing and failing to understand why something is popular. Prime example is DMZ, and by extension Battlefield 2042's Hazard Zone. I had to think of the word, couldn't think of it because they stopped supporting it after like 3 months. But they just sat there, made a mode where there's no rewards, no incentive, no external shop or anything. So players were like, so I go in to get gear, to go in, to get gear, to go in. And devs would look at it and be like, yeah, that's it, right? That's how extraction shooters work. And no, they don't. There's eventually the devs for at least COD learned you need to have quests, you need to have a market. They're still not too bright when it comes to the market aspect. Making you have to go into a mission to do crafting is tedious, but at the same time I also understand they don't have gear degradation, so they can't just be like, yeah, make stuff in your base, it's gonna wear out anyways. And I think that's kind of what they're doing with the new COD Zombies mode, because it's like DMZ with zombies, and people are like, so this is like Outbreak. And I think they took that because they saw a ton of people play the Outbreak stuff over normal round-based zombies, which I got my own feelings on it. I do think kind of a extraction shooter with zombies is a viable option, but I also think it has to be done in very specific ways. I know some people are like, oh, well, I don't want guys with guns in my zombie mode. I'm like, it's not that bad, realistically. The big thing is going to be, can the NPCs get attacked by zombies? If the AI treats them as being on the same team, yeah, it's a screwed mode. That's terrible. But if you can bait them, then you can have some fun. What I think would need to happen is you'd also need to have bosses, just like there was in DMZ. Granted, DMZ's bosses suck, and especially the air one, when it's just like, yeah, turn on the SAM sight and it'll just shoot it down for you. But of course, I'm used to Tarkov bosses where Tagilla will come and flatten your whole head with a sledgehammer, or the new guy they added who's got the PKM, which is pretty cool. I do like that. I do like that Tarkov is like, hey, so LMGs are really good, and firing them is really difficult. I kind of wish games would go that route. Battlefield 5, Battlefield V, whatever you want to call it. I consider it Battlefield V because it's not a actual number 5. But they kind of did that with LMGs. But I don't know, they still made them suck. So it was really difficult to be like, yeah, I will take an LMG or an MMG, which I do appreciate the difference. But then they're just like, yeah, BT dubs, they still suck, so you either hip firing and having terrible accuracy, which I traced around people before, and that was the most infuriating thing ever, or you have to like crouch or lay down. I really think they needed to bring back suppression. I know people hated it. I was cool with suppression. I found it to be grounded. I just hate when people sit around and go, oh, it's not fair. Shoot back, idiot. Or maybe stop trying to lone wolf everything. Learn suppressing fire. Ooh, data slate. I needed that.
Analysis complete. The data slate you found has a unique encryption litanies running. You need to access the decryption terminal.
But yeah. Funny how this all stemmed from Type Out Space Marine, but I just hope they don't chase trends, they do a good job. One thing I will say is I'm worried about environments. Because that's always a problem 40K games have. Is, I understand, yes, in the grimdark future of the 41st millennium, everything sucks. But I'd like some brighter environments. I'd like trees, foliage. It doesn't have to be the prettiest piece of nature, but I think it'd be cool to see Space Marines fighting in open fields. Considering there's ag worlds that are more or less like borderline medieval, I'd love to see that. I've said it before, I'd love to see like a world with cherry blossom trees. Go full on Japan themed. There's tons of planets, you can get away with anything. I just want to see something new that hasn't really been touched on. We could do, I assume there's going to be maps that are what happens when the Tyranids tyranniform an area, which is fine. I would expect that. I expect some maps will probably be kind of Zinchi, eyes all over and blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die. And I'm cool with that. I'd love to see more chaos influence in environments. That is something I will always say was a great job in Chaos Bane. While I may rip that game a new hole once in a while, I do think it was well designed in the art department. When you were in a Zinchian influenced area, you knew it was Zinch. When it was Khorne, you knew it was Khorne. Nurgle and Slaanesh, same thing. And that was cool. Same as the Chaos, Chaos Spawn. This game, that's one gripe I have, is the Chaos Spawn are just like, yeah, we're kind of more of... Honestly, they look like a Slaaneshi, I think they're the Fiend of Slaanesh. Or it's like the Seekers or something like that. One of their creatures. They kind of have that vibe going on. And that's what throws me off. Because every other version of a Chaos Beast or a Chaos Spawn is just like some lumpy thing with claws and some tentacles, and then slight variations in its appearance depending on who's spawned it, whose influence is heaviest in it. And that's cool. Once again, Chaos Bane did a good job with that. Each one, when they died, had a different effect. I like that a lot. I don't expect that in Space Marine, that, considering it's probably just going to be Tzeentch for the most part. But I hope they have a throwback to like the Chosen of Nemeroth. I hope that's a Chaos Space Marine preset paint scheme. I would actually just rock that for a while. Otherwise, as cool and as much as I love the lightning paint, I probably wouldn't rock a Night Lord's look. I don't like the bat wings.
There was a protective hex on the chest. I must defeat the summon.
It just feels like, even though they predate it by a long shot, when I see Night Lords, all I think of is these guys should be on like an Avenged Sevenfold album cover. The skulls, the bat wings, the lightning, it's like, it just goes together. Probably be a Nurgly boy for the most part. Might rock. Well, it depends, because if they have like, I think it's Claws of Hakan or Harkon, or Apocalypse Company, I think it is, or something like that. There's one paint job that's black with green flames that's used by a couple chapters I've seen. If they had that, it'd be cool. Or I can't remember if it's like the Fire Dragons or Black Dragon. No, it's not the Black Dragons, because that was a Cursed founding, I believe. But it was a group of like traitor salamanders, so they have like the quote-unquote like dragon scale, the lizard hide cloth and stuff, and it looks really cool. I'd rock them. It all depends on what they include. I get the feeling it's going to be a lot of more generic appearance stuff, which is fine. I might rock Iron Warriors. I like the hazard paint. Plus, I feel like Perturabo kind of got screwed. Admittedly, he was a bit of a man baby about things, but it's like, look, I feel like he just overreacted. Because they were good siege engineers, they were great at building fortifications, and then you get mad that you're the guy assigned to building fortifications. Like, look, that's what you do. It may not sound glorious, but when you're the best at it, you get assigned to it. But he had to get all butthurt over it, and had to join Horus and the whole heresy thing. There's a lot of cool stuff they could do, though. I'm just trying to think. I would love to see like a Chaos Lord, or give the player an ability, at least for Chaos, to become, like, to ascend to be a Chaos Demon. Even if it's just like one of the goofy looking, like, you're just a bigger hulking guy in power armor kind of deal. Like some of the old miniatures and how it was in Dawn of War. I'd take that. I think that'd be cool. Possibilities, I won't say are endless, but there's a lot of them. I just hope for the best. Warhammer games need a win. Uncover the rest of the map and wipe out 2 Nurglings. Oh, 4 Nurglings. We got another seasonal mission, but it's under... Wait, what's that layout? Huh. Oh, it's a bunker busting for Alpha Legion. Interesting. Let's get our skill point in. We're getting closer. Only 4 more levels. 3 more levels. Wow, that's a lot of nothing. That's fine, though. It's whatever. Gotta say, these seasonal missions are nice, though, because it's like, oh, build up, and where I normally get kind of crap rewards, the game's like, hey, you played a little bit, here's a good mission for you. I appreciate that. That's a neat little thing. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.